Congressman Cory Mills, Republican from Florida, joins me now. Congressman, you were in the courtroom. Did Michael Cohen do any real damage to Trump yesterday?
No, Varney, I actually don't think he did any damage to Trump, but he certainly did to the prosecution. If you think about some of the things that he talked about, one, he had self-admission, in my opinion, to defrauding the Trump organization by knowingly and wrongfully putting invoices that he claims was not for actual legal retention. Again, that's nothing on the Trump campaign, or the Trump camp, because what they did was they filed legal retainers under exactly what the general ledger should be, which is under legalities. And so when you look at this, and also remember what Michael Cohen said when he talked about his actual case in the South District Court in New York, he said that that was one of the most corrupt and rigged systems down there. Now, you can't say that the New York courts in the South District of New York is somehow corrupt and or at a witch hunt, and now all of a sudden, trust me, this one is not, knowing that Judge Mercant's actually daughter is raising hundreds of millions of dollars as a political operative for the re-election of Harris and Biden, as well as for Adam Schiff and others. And then you've got Cohen himself, who is actually benefiting monetarily off of his podcast, Mea Culpa, where he's selling items that he didn't even want to admit to, as well as the two books that he's written. So, look, it benefits this court case to continue to go on for financial reasoning for both the judge's daughter and the re-election of Biden-Harris for fundraising, as well as for Michael Cohen himself.
Got it. Congressman, the Wall Street Journal reports that President Biden's moving forward with $1 billion worth of weapons for Israel. You introduced articles of impeachment against the president after he withheld the weapons from Israel. If we give this aid now, are you still going to impeach him?
Absolutely. And the bottom line is that once you've created an unconstitutional, movement or a violation, why is it that you think that you can then, correct it? Look, you can't break into a person's house and steal their goods and then next week go, hey, by the way, I'm going to return these so you can't press charges now. That's not how it works. If you look at his violations, he had a gross abuse of power where he was actually committing a quid pro quo. How did he do so? Because he looked at the Michigan numbers where you had 13.2% of Michigan who, under Rashida Tlaib's request, voted uncommitted. That's 101,000 votes. He's seeing what's happening with the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine sympathizers on college universities, and he's basically saying, I'm going to withhold aid, which he knew what the aid was going to be utilized for when he signed the package, so that I could buy votes from those who actually are not in support of Israel. And so this is a clear quid pro quo, not to mention the violation of the Take Care Clause for not enforcing federal border policy, and I would say also the abuse of separation of power, where he's trying to still go against the Supreme Court ruling to buy more votes by doing the tuition bailout, even though they've said that that's unconstitutional.
We must have a discussion at some point of what is a high crime and misdemeanor involved in this particular impeachment. Congressman Cory Mills, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for being with us today, sir.
Thank you so much, Varney.